Hi everyone, I'm Ines and welcome back to Voyage of a Time Wanderer. Today I'm going to be doing the New Year New Books tag from Lucy the Reader on the Penguin platform. So this is just a quick 6-question tag video about goals and plans for 2018. So I thought this would be a good video to round out the month of January. The first question is, what is your first read of 2018? Now I think I'm supposed to have been doing this video closer to the beginning of the month, before I knew what I was going to read first, but because I am behind a little bit on catching up on booktube videos, I'm just doing this one now. So instead I'm just going to do the first book that I did read in 2018, and I actually read 3 books on the same day while traveling home from East Africa after Christmas. So I'm not exactly sure which one I finished first because I was reading them all on the plane at the same time. So I'll just list all 3. The first one is Hail Holy Queen, the Mother of God and the Word of God by Scott Hahn, and this is kind of an introductory text into Catholic Mariology, and I'm not Catholic and I didn't grow up in a denomination that had any kind of Marian doctrine, so this was just an interesting look into understanding what certain denominations, including Catholicism and Orthodoxy, believe about the Virgin Mary. The second book I finished on that day was The Little Book of Hygge, The Danish Way to Live Well by Meek Wiking. So if you watched my Nonfiction November TBR, you'll see that I had a book on Hygge, but I ended up not really enjoying it and I actually DNF'd it. And so this was the book that I originally had wanted to read, and so I found it as an ebook from my library, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the Hygge book that I tried to read in November. This one was a lot more practical, it wasn't as philosophical, it had some fun charts and graphs based on this guy's research findings, and I really enjoyed it. And then the last book I read on the plane was this book that I picked up in the London airport, How to Stop Time by Matt Haig, which is about a man with a rare genetic condition that causes him to age very slowly, so he actually was born during the Elizabethan period, but he's still alive in the present day, and it kind of jumps back and forth through various lifetimes that he's had and different experiences that he's lived through in Elizabethan England, Jazz Age Paris, Victorian London, and then the present day. So the second question is, which books that you read in 2017 do you want to share with everyone this year? So if you check out my top 5 of 2017 video that I posted on Sunday, you'll see my 5 favorite reads. 3 of those are quite well known, I think. Rilla of Ingleside by Ellen Montgomery, Lieutenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, and Homegoing by Yagassi are all books that I hear a lot of people talking about. So I think the 2 that I would want to share with everyone are the 2 that I don't really hear anyone else mentioning because I think they're excellent books that deserve a lot more attention. And the first one of those is The Anatomy Lesson by Nina Segal, and that is a book that takes place in the Dutch Golden Age in Amsterdam and follows the anatomy lesson painting by Rembrandt and the one day surrounding the sitting for that painting. And I personally think it's even better than Girl with the Pearl Earrings, so it's a book that I think a lot of people would really enjoy if they picked up. And then the second book that I would want to share with everyone is The Headmaster's Wager, which follows a member of the Chinese diaspora living in Saigon during the Vietnamese War. And you watch as he tries to balance conflicts in relationships and loyalties as he attempts to remain a neutral third party between the Vietnamese and the Americans. The third question is, what is your reading goal this year? So I have a whole video on that actually called 2018 Reading Goals that you can check out, but the 2 main ones that I have is my Goodreads goal, which is set at 36 books, although secretly I kind of have a reach goal of 52 books because I read 50 last year, so I think I should be able to reach 52 this year. And then my second main goal is to complete my Classics Club challenge by the middle of June, and that's a challenge that I set for myself 5 years ago to read 50 classics in 5 years. And I have about 8 books left to finish that, so it's definitely doable. And I'm super excited about finally fulfilling that 5-year challenge because it's been a long time. Then the fourth question is, which new author, book, or genre would you like to try this year? And I'm going to answer which author, and there's 2 of them actually. And it's these 2, Margaret Atwood and Barbara Kinsolver. Margaret Atwood is just such a classic Canadian author, and I have on my shelves here Alias Grace, and there's a TV adaptation of this out now that I really, really want to watch, but I want to read the book first, so this is a high priority. And then Barbara Kinsolver, somehow I've accumulated 3 of her books. I've got Flight Behavior, The Lacuna, and The Poisonwood Bible all here. And I know I'm going to really like her writing. She's my best friend's favorite author, and some of these books, like The Poisonwood Bible, is set in Africa, which I know I'm going to enjoy, and The Lacuna I know is historical fiction, so there's no reason that I wouldn't really enjoy these. I just want to make time to check her out in 2018. And then question 5 is, which reading habits would you like to change? And when I was thinking about the answer to this one, there was an immediate answer that came to mind, and that is to have a more consistent reading pace. So if you watch my 2017 reading wrap-up video that's on the statistics of my reading in 2017, you'll see that there are some months when I read a lot, and then some months where I read like 1 book or 0 books. And so this year I really want to try not to have these big reading bursts where I read like all the books in 1 month and then I take a break from reading for a while, so I really don't want to have those like strong and weak months. I want to have a more consistent pace that's spread out evenly across all the months so that I don't get into these reading ruts and then read a lot 1 month and not read it all the next. And then the last question, question 6, is what is the most anticipated release this year? And I was going to say that I don't really follow new releases because I don't really actively like check on what books are being released this year, but just from watching other booktubers videos and reading a couple lists on different book blogs, I already do have a couple 2018 releases that I'm looking forward to. First of all, I know there's a new Peter May mystery set on the Outer Hebrides that's coming out sometime this year, and he's one of my very favorite authors, so I'm really looking forward to that. And a couple others that I've seen include White Chrysanthemum, which is about 2 South Korean sisters during the Second World War, I believe, one of which is a pearl diver who ends up being taken by the Japanese to be a comfort woman. So that sounds like a heartbreaking but interesting historical fiction read. Then there's a book coming out called The Romanov Empress, which is about Tsar Nicholas II's mother and kind of her story, and I'm a big Russian history nerd, or at least I was when I was growing up, so I think that's definitely a book I'd really enjoy. And then lastly, there's a book that I've seen some hype about called Fools and Mortals. I don't know actually if it's coming out this year, if it was already released or maybe it's just released in the UK and it's not out yet in Canada. But that book is supposed to be set in Elizabethan England, and I think the main character is Shakespeare's brother. So I'm hoping maybe to get to that one in April, because I'm trying to have a bit of a Shakespeare month to celebrate his birthday in that month. So those are, I guess, 4 new releases that I'm really looking forward to checking out in 2018. Anyway, this was a really fun little tag video to get into some of my ideas for reading in 2018. Be sure to check out the other videos that I mentioned if you're wondering more about my 2017 wrap-up or my 2018 reading goals. Until next time, enjoy wandering through the pages of a good book. Bye.